The key to the Grail is hidden beneath the sign of the rose. Langdon held the wooden box up to the light and examined the inlaid symbol of the rose. Beneath the rose, Sub Rosa, secret. A bump in the hallway behind him made Langdon turn. He saw nothing but shadows. Teabing's manservant most likely had passed through. Opening the box, he examined the inside of the lid. It was smooth. As he shifted its position, though, the light caught what appeared to be an almost imperceptibly small hole in the underside of the lid, positioned in the exact center. Setting the box on the table, he looked around the room and spied a stack of papers with a paper. All in the hood, he returned to the box, unwrapped the paper clip, and inserted one hand into the hole. He gave a gentle push. The clip burst out. He heard something crackle behind him. Written in immaculate hand were 4 lines of text in a language he had never seen. A sudden movement behind him caught his attention. Out of nowhere, a crushing blow to the head knocked Langdon to his knees. As he fell, he thought for a moment he saw a pale ghost hovering over him, clutching a gun. Then everything went black. Sophie Nauvoo, despite working in law enforcement, had never found herself at gunpoint until tonight. Almost inconceivably, the gun into which she was now staring was clutched in the pale hand of an enormous albino with long white hair. Dressed in a wool robe with a rope tie, he resembled a medieval cleric. "You know what I have come for," the monk said. Sophie and Teabing were seated on the divan, arms raised. Langdon lay groaning on the floor as the monk circled around the divan until he faced Sophie and Teabing. His eyes fell immediately to the keystone on Teabing's lap. Teabing's tone was defiant. "You will not be able to open it." "My teacher is very wise." "Now, hand me the keystone." "You know the keystone?" Teabing said, sounding surprised. "Never mind what I know. Stand up slowly and you will go. Standing is difficult for me." "Precisely. I would prefer nobody making it possible." Teabing slipped his right hand through one of his crutches and grasped the keystone in his left. Lurching to his feet, he stood erect, palming the heavy cylinder in his left hand and leaning unsteadily on his crutch with his right. The monk closed within a few feet, keeping the gun aimed directly at Teabing's head. "It's quite heavy," the man on crutches said, his arm wavering now. "If you don't take it soon, I'm afraid I shall drop it." He swayed perilously. Silas stepped quickly forward to take the stone, and as he did, the man on crutches lost his balance. The crutch slid out from under him, and he began to topple sideways to his right. "No!" Silas lunged to save the stone, lowering his weapon in the process. As the man fell to his right, his left hand swept him. And the cylinder tumbled from his palm onto the padded couch. At the same instant, the metal crutch that had been sliding out from under the man seemed to accelerate, cutting a wide arc through the air toward Silas's leg. Splinters of pain tore up Silas's body as the crutch made perfect contact with his silus, crushing the barbs into his already raw flesh.
Buckling, Silas crumpled to his knees. The pistol discharged with a deafening roar, the bullet burying itself harmlessly in the floorboards as Silas fell. Before he could raise the gun and fire again, the woman's foot caught him square beneath the jaw. At the bottom of the driveway, Collet heard the gunshot. The weapon was discharged inside a private home. Now he had no choice unless he wanted to land in front of a ministerial review board for negligent police procedure. Collet knew if he stood by idly for another second, his entire career would be history by morning. Eyeing the estate's iron gate, he made his decision. Tie on and pull it down. Sophie was about to ask a question when the telephone rang. Excuse me, please. The man walked over to the phone on a nearby table. Oui, he answered. His brow furrowed. Sophie was about... Lieutenant? The clicking of Teabing's crutches in the hallway announced his return. When he entered the study, his expression was stern.
I just saw you on television, Robert, he said icily. You'd better explain yourself. It appears you have not been honest with me.
I'm being framed, Lee, Langdon said.